Well, thank you for sticking around, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kyle Corvus Crow, joined at the desk today by the one and only Jeff Zeta Schnurr, as we are getting ready to bring in a little League of Legends action tonight. Seneca College versus Sheridan.
Yeah, Seneca College, after all, they are undefeated currently in the bracket, but Sheridan is also undefeated, and they've played one more match to boot. So this is a head-to-head clash of epic proportions. Hopefully, one of these two teams is going to show us what the real meaning of Perfect League of Legends is. But at the very least, it should be a very entertaining series to see who takes top the group.
Well, with that, we know we started a little late, so we're just going to jump right on into things. Get the draft phase underway. Of course, now this is the very first match these two teams will have played against each other. On the blue side, that is Seneca. On the red side, that is Sheridan. Just for information here, as we'll run down the players in the top lane. For Seneca, it's DeMarvelous, Darabo, Chansul, Zot, and Zero Gravity. Over on the side of Sheridan, we've got Mac, That Camper, Jay, Ostrich, and Elkie Chong. And already off the board, Lucian taken out of play.
Yeah, I seem to remember Chansul is a Katarina one-trick. Pretty sure he is.
So have you seen these teams play before then?
I played against them last year, actually.
Oh,
I believe
perspective here, insider.
Last year. I don't know how else I would know the name off the top of my head, but I do think he is a Katarina. At least he's a Katarina main. I don't know if it's one trick, but I do remember having to ban Katarina. So.
Well, hey, look at that. There you go. We do see the Katarina off the table there. So that's a lot of actually just carry focus coming out of the side of Sheridan already. They take out the Akali, they take out the Kaisa, and the Katarina. A little bit more bot lane / roaming utility focus from the first round of the draft, and the takeaway over for Seneca is they got rid of the Lucian Braum bot lane. It's a strong power combo. It always has been with the double stack of the Winter's Bite passive coming out with Lucian's double shot. And Lissandra there just put a little bit more ice off the table. The Alistar first pick up, a lot of support focus, is assuming that Morgana's going to go to Elkie Chong in the bot lane. So already these people are stacking up what they expect to be a brawl in the bot there.
Yeah, and the Alistar, of course, is so highly contested. It is a fantastic support pick. It's so consistent, so good at being a frontline, but at also disrupting these other champions. They're opting with the Sivir into the Alistar. That's not what you usually want to pick, because when you pick Sivir, you have to know the Alistar can still knock you up through your spell shield.
Right.
The Morgana slightly delays or almost deters that, but at the same time, it's not a guarantee. Morgana's ever not there, Sivir's still extremely vulnerable to that combo.
Yeah, with that Morgana, you just have to be so quick on the draw to punishing Alistar for that. It is very much a skill dilemma of whether or not you're quick enough, you're skilled enough to take this Alistar down a peg when and where you need to. But the Lee Sin for Darabo there, locked in and away, and wasted no time with that one. They'll hang on to the idea of Victor for a little while, and yes, they lock it in. So Chansuel wants that one. Will pick it up, and this mid lane has some constraints around it already in this first phase, so I wouldn't be surprised if they lock in. So it's going to be...
Maybe Syndra. It's good into the Victor, but it's not good into Victor top. And after all, most likely still going to be a Victor top, as we have seen. The Kleptomancy is strong with this one, and he tends to still have a very favorable matchup against pretty much every top laner that has been brought to bear. Sometimes he does lose. We've seen Jace win. We have seen champions that also lane bully him extremely hard. Riven posited as a counter pick as well. All of these extremely aggressive champs have potential to stop the Victor, but none of them have been super successful except for at the extremely high echelons of play.
Well, with that, there's a Xayah ban coming out for Sheridan as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see another AD carry there. It doesn't really make too much sense to ban a solo lane when you don't know exactly where this Victor's coming.
Draven out.
You want to do it in tandem, whereas they can just put pressure on that ADC roll. Makes sense that they'll take the Draven out and away. Alternatively, the Kha'Zix taken out of the jungle. That's something that Darabo does not want to see. You know, it can cause Lee Sin some headaches early, and Lee Sin's one of those champions you really want to get going in the early game. classic.
The weak fear the shadows.
15
Fear controls them.
Kane taken out as well, so we see where each of these teams has their priorities lying, but what Ostrich will lock in here for his team if he's going to shape. So to finally round out this composition for the last pick, I think that Teemo's probably just going to be a troll, because the Urgot seems a lot more likely.
They pick it. I mean,
There it is.
it's certainly a good thing to have. The problem is, it gets completely lane bullied by the Victor, right? This means that their jungler is whoever it's going to be, right? There still are a lot of things on the table. The Nocturne, the Xin Zhao. These are all options for that camper to actually get. But the question is, if he picks, right, and he isn't able to get the Victor rolling, how much have they committed? Will they commit anything, in fact, to try and stop that? Because realistically, if you don't stop it, if you can't stop it, and you put no resources into it, the worst case scenario is that Victor gets free farm. You know, the Urgot should never actually die, but he's not going to have a happy lane. And if you go to the other sides of the map, maybe you go mid, maybe you go bot lane, try to change those up, things can actually work out for you. But
this is tricky.
this is a pretty interesting pick, you know, getting that Irelia. It's still going to be mid lane most likely. I mean, you know, there's really no reason to put the Victor mid, especially against a Syndra. He loses the range matchup, and so they're going to have to make some decisions, you know. Irelia into Syndra isn't fantastic either, though, right? You get knocked back. You get scattered. And as soon as you get scattered, you can't actually finish those combos that you start to build.
Well, here's what gets tricky for me, too, is the lock of this Varus for Zot here does interest me, because we have a Syndra, we have a Morgana, and Urgot. All of those make an immobile caster carry's life pretty tricky, right? The J4's
yeah.
a little insult to injury there with the J4. That was not picked at the time of the Varus, but it certainly is picked in counter, I would say, to the Varus there. So it does make things just the slightest bit tricky. Compositionally, we'll see how it all shakes out for them, but in the meantime, we do need to take a look on over to these teams' record. We'll start with the blue side. That is Seneca College. Those are the Scorpions, if you couldn't tell from their logo. The boxing gloves might make it a little hard. You're used to pinchers. They have currently gone undefeated. I believe the W to 0 there is UOIT. That is Ontario Tech. That's a forfeit, but the other two, another Ontario Tech B team, 2-0 against them, and then City of New York Hunter, a 2-0 against them. Now, going over to the other side of things, Sheridan College, if this looks like a little deja vu, well, that's because it is. They've got basically the same record here.
Yeah, they've got the same bracket. I mean, they basically have almost everything that they've needed to do, except they also got to play against Carleton in addition to those other rosters, and that's where the extra win came from. That is as well a 2-0 scoreline. So now the time has come. Which of these two squads will pick up their final victory? Will it be Sheridan College taking that first win, or be Seneca coming back?
With that, we're basically ready to hop right into game here as the players are getting ready to take to the Rift here. We're going to throw those nice, lovely logos up at the top for you so you can see. It's the Bruins on the red side, the Scorpions on the blue side. It should be a showdown for the ages.
It's just a question of where this Jarvan is actually able to exert pressure. You know, if he can exert pressure, if he can make it happen, win the mid lane, win the top lane, especially in that top lane. If that Victor doesn't have any purchase against the Urgot already outscales him in terms of utility and has a much better mid to late game team fight, right? Victor's great at wave clear, but he can't actually get that instant execute kill onto such an important carry. If it is onto the Irelia or the Varus, maybe, that's a massive. And so he's going to have to work a lot harder, have the same effect. But it is possible. And as the Jarvan starts, we're going to see the red start for the J4, and that is, of course, going to be a level 2 gank. He is fantastic at level 2 ganking, right? The EQ combo rivals that of the Camille, so we shall see if indeed he's able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered with that, you get the early gank off here on two reasonably early game junglers. The J4 has an easier time scaling into the later than the Lee Sin, but that in no way, shape, or form means he's not the early game threat that they're looking for him to be here. So I think especially against, you know, this bot lane, you've got a little trouble from Zero Gravity on this Alistair, but if they're able to harass him out early enough, that's only going to benefit them in the long run. Moving out. Looks like near the Scuttle Crab, we've got a little bit of a battle here. Darabu, despite having both buffs, does not want this level 2 and has to back it off, but Elky, Chong, and Ostrich are there. That's not going to connect with the Dark Binding. And it's a caution flash.
Still has the flash.
Cancel. Yeah, they say, hey, you know what, don't want anything to do with that. Darabu still going to get flashed on here. The safeguard to nowhere means that camper is going to get the first kill, and now Zot may have found himself in unfamiliar territory, even though it's his own jungle. Chancel, what are you going to do here? The answer, nothing. A double kill, but he does trade his own life for it, as that one does go to Chancel in the end.
Oh my gosh, it's still going.
I know it, they're just not slowing down. Zero Gravity launched into orbit by Jay there. And that's going to be 3 kills in less than 3 minutes over for the Bruins here. Sheridan going to feel really great about that start.
I can't believe that it actually worked out. Right? You think, oh, the J4, that's a great pick on the, you know, flash forward to get the knockup. As soon as you actually get the knockup there, actually, I think you EQ flash, whether or not he wanted to, you know, matter of his own decision. But he's still doing fantastically. He gets that kill and then continues to fight. He knows they have backup coming. He knows he can do a ton of damage to the Varus, and so he just turns, right? Zot doesn't realize that there's more members coming. He goes down, and then even though it's a 2 versus 2, the Irelia just can't stick around, right? If you get Morgana binded, it doesn't matter if you have double buffs. You're still going to die in that 1 versus 2. And so she goes down and leaves. Straight leaves the fight. Alistair can't flash it, gets actually hit by that binding instead, and falls for that 3rd kill. And overall, I mean, Lee Sin's still trying to get some more of that jungle invade happening, but it is a very, very tough prospect as of right now. I mean, you're talking about somebody who already died once to the J4. He's going to need a lot to come back.
Yeah, this is kind of feels extra bad on the start here. Not what you want for Darabu, not what you want on a Lee Sin. Makes it so difficult to kind of claw your way back into a game, especially pre-level 6, right? He's just now hitting level 3, which is still, I think, significantly behind. That camper should hit level 4 well before him here, even with the back, just clear time, especially having the bottom Cinder here. Be very surprised if that weren't the case. This next gank from that camper should be pretty big. The only saving grace is he's kind of blowing through a lot of his mana here. Won't really have enough for more than just a flag and drag combo. They would have to pick a lane without their flash here, which is bot and mid, but already bot lane seems to be trying to take it. Elky Chong getting pretty low here. Gotta be careful because 1 piercing arrow would do it, but the flash out is enough to keep Elky Chong alive there. Maybe not worth it. Got a little bit aggressive in the place of Zot, and Zot said, hey, I'm happy to punish that all day.
Yeah, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is still flash burn for basically free, and another combo lands.
Yikes. Not the best from Zero Gravity there. Just flashing for that and coming up short on it. Let's see kind of what continues to come of that. And now that camper and Darabu are having a little bit of a revenge brawl. Darabu with the the blue buff, trying to get into the opposing side here. Should be able to do at least half damage to that camper. He's not going to follow through onto the tower very wisely. And now whether or not they want to continue onto Jay here is the question. But Zero Gravity says, no thanks. We'll walk out of that one and burn another little bit of time and pressure onto their opponents. Nothing too bad coming out of that one, but Darabu actually forcing the level 4 before that camper can get it. So, pretty big swing there.
Big swing indeed. I mean, you want to talk about the fact that I was mentioning, you know, Lee Sin had to get back into this game, but he's actually doing fantastically in the jungle so far. For somebody who fell down so early, lost both of his buffs, keep in mind, the Jarvan did too. So it wasn't a buff advantage, didn't have a clear advantage, and after all, the Lee Sin did get a bunch of experience from actually taking J4's blue and his own red. So if he can keep maintaining that advantage in the farm and in the XP, this should actually start to work out for him. But in the top lane, this is pretty much exactly what we expected. Slight CS lead for Victor and a big health advantage.
Yeah, the CS is playing a really important part in this gold lead of 700, actually, because you look at the 10 that are in the favor of the mid lane, you look at the, 8 to 10 that are kind of alternating in top side, and then you look at the the 10+ deficit you actually have in the bottom, all for Seneca. Those 2 solo lane wins are going to be really big as far as continuing to try to claw into this game and stretch back. I don't think they have too much hope of coming back in this bot lane anytime soon. It's just going to get worse and worse for them as Ostrich can get all the more aggressive. And actually, Chancel here exhausted already. That's going to be a damage cut, but doesn't matter with the Ignite. Should actually get Jay here. The tick down does happen.
And the TP is going to ensure that he can maybe...
At least it saves him, and DeMarvelous is going to do more than that as he picks up another kill. The tying kill brought to the plate here. 3-3, even in gold, and now this is tower pressure over for the side of Sheridan.
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually going to be able to just straight take the first turret of the game very early in. A great pick-off on both the jungler and the mid laner means that they have enough room and enough time to actually get that kill. Now, think about possibly pushing into another, maybe another lane, right? After already having taken the mid turret, they can set up for the dragons, they can set up for the Rift Heralds, try to make sure their bot lane can win, any of all of the above, but the teleport's can already start channeling.
And this is big, actually, because DeMarvelous just used his, so there's no answer for this. Mac is down here, but it's still the 3v3, 0 gravity, maybe giving up his own life to get his allies out of there, and an ill-timed flash at the end does give the kill over, no questions asked, but advantage still squarely in the hands of Seneca to be having that tower down early. Still 400 gold, not a whole ton, but still something.
But hey, the dragon might be at least something of an answer, right? The turret, pretty much no way to actually get anything back for it. Sin looking for the steal.
He wants to find it, but not going to be enough. Red team gets that one for themselves. Now Daraboo is in a little bit of trouble here. Actually, almost dies to that one, but Jay not able to seal the deal at the end, and left a little bit of time for DeMarvelous to kind of bounce this wave up here and really stretch a little bit more of that top lane advantage. But that's a small consolation prize to such an early Infernal Drake takeaway by the Bruins.
Yeah, and the Infernal Drake, I mean, especially when you consider the fact that they want to get later into the game, they've got the Sivir, they've got the teamfight composition. This is, you know, it's going to look a little bit more hairy, right? It's going to get even more worrisome if any more Infernals come up, or if they don't fall super far behind, right? We mentioned the gold lead is extremely thin. If it maintains a thin gold lead, or if they're not able to grow it in any significant fashion, the Sivir's still going to scale, and you're still going to be in a completely terrible situation.
Scaling kind of part of the name of the game here for the Sheridan Bruins. They want to be able to just stack out this composition into a later game. I think if this thing goes north of 20 minutes and it's still even, and you know they're still in the running, that's going to be good news for Sheridan there. And the side of Seneca have a little bit of more ground to make up. Now that said, they really do have some mid to late game damage threats here if they can get and keep them rolling. A 2-0 start for Chancel on this Irelia is phenomenal, don't get me wrong, and could really cause a lot of headaches to Ostrich here. But if Mac and Jay can just manage to stay afloat against these 2 solo lanes, which, you know, they are considerably down right now, I think that bodes well for the Bruins in the long term. We'll see how that does happen, because we kind of got these 2 storylines building. Okay, we know the Bruins want to build up this bottom lane advantage. We know that's what they're probably looking to play around. Meanwhile, Daraboo's got to be thinking about how he can continue to roll these 2 solo lanes. I already see them trying to put pressure in this jungle, maybe catch out a pick in this bot side jungle, but I doubt it's going to amount to too much right now, as both teams really just willing to kind of catch their breath and keep pressuring the CS.
Yeah, if they can manage to get something soon. Oh, good old plan.
Tower gank. This is the timing, and look at that. The spell shield not going to do anything there. Actually ulted to try to get out of that one as well, but died with both summoners up. Knew it was hopeless from the time they came behind the tower. So 0 gravity took a little bit of damage there, but the rest of the Scorpions here just continuing on with a lot of pressure. That's going to be a nice dark binding actually on a Chancel, forcing his flash out. Ignites down a Cataclysm as well. It's got all 4 involved, and that's a double kill already for Jay. It's exactly what they needed. This is going to be a huge one as well, as Zot goes down, and 0 gravity is in no shape to get out of this one alive. J4 finds himself a double as well, as that camper camps the bottom lane. We talked about that wanting to be the focus right now of the Bruins, and they just do it fantastically. So now at 12 minutes, they'll be answering that tower back for sure.
Wow, I mean, the fact that they were able to even get this is just ridiculous, right? They just easily walked down. You think that it was a fantastic dive, right? It was a fantastic dive by the Scorpions. They had every single right to get that kill. And then it just goes completely wrong. They overstay, they get found, they get hooked, they get absolutely demolished by the counter engage. And now Irelia's going to try to answer back. Chancel for one, can't convert the stun.
You know, I think if you get the Silver Flash, you count that as a win. Just in
Yeah,
that
it's true.
small change of events. So
That is very, very true.
Chancel just got that for free. That's going to be a nice little consolation prize. They're going to say, hey, okay, well, at least no flash there, right? So they're going to shake that one off. I have a feeling things might quiet down just a little bit surrounding the fact that this Infernal Drake is the next pickup here. And nobody wants to give over too much priority within this kind of weird 2-minute neutral zone of, hey, look, if I die, do they have enough time to back and get another, you know, step towards an item in this dragon conversation? So teams, especially collegiate, tend to play a little bit more careful within that final 120 seconds prior to Drake spawning, especially important ones like Infernal, but right now, this is the planning phase, especially for the Scorpions, to say, look, how did that get away from us? What got out from under our feet? And what are our options here? Because they know they have to be down probably about in the realm of 1,000 gold. That's fairly easy to read in a situation like this where towers are equal, kills are only separated by about 4, and the CS split is actually a little in your favor, so they should know they're still, you know, in good fighting range. The problem is that they need to now answer something about that camper, because if he's involved in the fight at 4 kills, he's going to be huge, but they may have just found the pick out they need. Jay there with a nice 3-man stun. Locks him up, and this is bad for them, because here comes that camper. Chancel going to be out. Darabu as well. Flashing zero gravity. Left again to the Wolves, and Darabu with a nice kick. Meanwhile, Gravity's over the wall, actually. They split their focus a little too rough, and, you know, they could have found one of those. Could have made burgers from the cow or, you know, a disciple out of the blind monk, but since they split on him, actually, that's 2 flash outs, and it worked really well for them. But maybe Zot in a little bit of trouble now in the bot lane. We'll see what he gets out of this.
Oh, the ultimate saves him, barely has to flash away. Soon as he thinks he's okay, you see that boomerang blade, and he knows he has to get the heck out of dodge. If Zot stays, he could very well die, but it is a flash. So there's no way that she can actually instantly kill him, but the Jarvan's very much capable of that. Dragon is also another Infernal. We mentioned the fact that this is going to be extremely dangerous. They could turn on the Lee Sin if they wanted, but they don't even need to. Dragon pulled out. They are absolutely fine just turning and going for the second Infernal of the game.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Marvelous and Mac are squaring off in the top lane, but what does that even mean right now? Is the second Infernal Drake goes over to the Bruins here, and Mac is trying to get that kill, but his health bar is so low. DeMarvelous just outplaying this one. There's not enough burn damage. And with something like 5 HP, Mac waddles out of that one in one piece still. Keeps his teleport, and will be able to get back to lane here, so it's a moral victory for DeMarvelous, but you have to wonder if he couldn't have held off on that one, come back to the Dragon, and tried to turn the tide of that, because now dealing with all that percent damage coming out from the Bruins, who have just such a damage-heavy roster, as it is, explosively so with Jay on this, you know, Syndra here, with just everything Elky Chong's going to be able to do harassment-wise. This is just putting them in such phenomenal shape in this game already. The gold doesn't really tell the story. 1,000 gold difference doesn't feel as much separated as this game actually is right now.
I don't even know if it's separated, right? The thing is, it feels at one point overwhelming. The Irelia is so strong, so dynamic, able to do so much against these champions, but she goes for the ult and misses that.
This could be big. The Cataclysm's down still, though. Almost gets Jay, forces the stopwatch use, and that's the shutdown actually coming out from Zot, who's left alone on this backline. They do trade out Chancel, but Mac is in so much trouble here. They lose a tower on the top side while all this goes down, but DeMarvelous will pick up a much-needed kill, putting himself at 200 on the score there. So they lose a tower, but they take 2. It costs Chancel his life as well. If they can continue this pressure into mid and maybe get one more here, it will definitely be worth it. That seems to be the plan. Very little right now that camper can do. He's waiting on his bot lane of Ostrich and Elky to come through, but this tower will be long dead by that time, so the Scorpions take what could have been a rough situation. They almost made a counter gank out of what Jay and that camper were trying to do to Chancellor, sorry, Jay and Mac, and do flip it up on its head there, come out of that one with a net gain of, I guess, just a kill there, because it's tower for tower trades and a 2-for-1. But in the end of the day, it does bring that gold lead down to a mere paltry sum of 100 gold, if even that. So
not a lead. That's called a CS. You know, it's a single cannon minion between the two teams. Absolutely nothing separates these sides, but something might soon, right? Taking the Rift Herald could be the way that they actually get back into the lead and take some more objectives, because after all, the game started to stagnate slightly. You know, they did trade a top turret. They got themselves their second turret of the game, but that means that the score is even, and they still need to crack open the all-important mid if they want to actually have a shot. But with the Rift Herald going down, now the fight will erupt.
Yeah, they want to fight for it, but it is picked up over on the side of the Bruins. Meanwhile, they're going to try to keep running this one down. Not a lot that Elky Chong can do there. Zero Gravity should die for this one, but they actually want Chancellor. He's the real prize, and Ostrich comes to claim. He finds it at the bottom of the Cracker Jack box there. That's 2 for themselves here. Zero Gravity and Chancellor taken down only for Elky Chong. They will definitely take that trade, as it is a net gain of the mid laner. And the neutral objective fight really going the way of the Bruins right now. The Marvelous just had no shot in that one. Got way too close to the sun there. And Ostrich actually feeling the pain that is Zot. He picked this Varus into a really tough composition and is showing exactly why he was comfortable to do that. That camper trying to turn things around. Mac on the sideline just got him where it hurts. And that's a double kill for the Urgot, going to be coming in huge. His first 2 of the game. And man alive, if this damage distribution is not looking so good for Sheridan right now.
I mean, they have an Urgot who comes in late, cleans up the Varus. You see that Sivir on just 2 items. You think, oh, this is fantastic. They've got damage. Evaporated. Completely reduced to cinders by the Varus. No chance whatsoever. He goes down to the Jarvan, though, and the combination with the Urgot, and they still have more to push. That neutral fight worked out so well for them. Not only did they get the Rift Herald, they ended up nearly 4 more kills in the lead after all, and they still have time to take that mid turret, right? They didn't get it on the push, but they didn't need to. You know, they got so much for it that it doesn't matter if you get the objective right now, because you're still lining your pockets with so much gold.
The neutral game, a neutral objective game, coming out from Sheridan has been so good thus far, and the fight's going their way as well. Picks just all coming through, so again, the gold doesn't make it look like a huge difference, and actually that's one thing that I think we need to levy a lot of praise onto Seneca for being able to kind of shore that up several significant times across this map and not let things get too far out of hand, picking good fights for themselves. But right now, they need to find a way to stop this pressure, because the Rift Herald coming on in is going to mean that this tower dies. Pretty much no questions asked.
Yeah, once it does go down, they still have time to allow Shelly to walk in. If they can finish her off before the charge, and the turret doesn't take any damage, and they do exactly that, cleaning up the Shelly before they lose another 1500 HP on their tier 2 mid lane turret. Keep in mind, right, Scorpions already took down the mid TC. They don't have to worry about that being answered back, but they also don't have either of the outer. So it's kind of a give and take now. What they have to look at is, okay, we're slightly down in gold. We can't win fights directly. That's not what this team is about. The team is not about, you know, stand up 5v5. You're going to beat Sivir and Syndra and J4 and Urgot. The team is about, we have mobility, we have great pick potential, and fantastic solo laners in our Irelia and our Victor. All we have to do is try to wave clear, give the Irelia space, and hope that she can actually split push enough to the point where they can win some major engagements, either in the 4 versus 4 or in the 1 versus 1 split.
If those major engagements are to come, it's going to come around one of these neutral objectives. They try for a steal on that dragon. It's not going to happen.
Victor's on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, meanwhile, Chancel in the top lane, though, feeling pretty good about the split push. Mac having to just get out of here. He runs back to his team, but Camper can do nothing and Zero Gravity actually is the one to take that kill away. This should be bad for Camper, though. I don't think he's out of this one. Flag and Drag couldn't even save him right now, but meanwhile, Ostrich kills Zot back there. Chancel going way too deep, actually, and is just baited masterfully by Jay there. They do have to back off now because Ostrich can definitely pick off any one of these members. Is it all three, though? Darabu gets Elky Chong. He's not out of this one yet. It's the shutdown kill for Ostrich, and is going to face the Ignite here. DeMarvelous with no mana has to go down careful if you dive that. There it is, the last shot for it. And just like that, things are still just back to an even keel as only 200 gold separate these. It's a story of Drakes for the side of the Bruins, but, you know, we talked about this potentially being an even matchup with their strength of schedule that we've seen, you know, both these teams playing likewise opponents. I was not expecting this even at 20 minutes into this game.
Well, the good thing is, it's two very different compositions as well, right? Shows that at least both of these teams can play meta compositions and they can play them pretty, you know, efficiently. They aren't clean, right? I wouldn't say clean, as a matter of fact, but they are certainly meta compositions. And so, the good thing is, at the very least, the Bruins have advantages where it counts in their composition, right? They've got 2 Infernal Dragons, and that means that they're not only scaling for Elder, but they're scaling for the Lake. Sivir and the Syndra both want to get, the Syndra and the Urgot both want to get Sivir into the late game, and if they can, she probably just 1v9s the entire enemy team, you know? Even if Irelia goes in, even if she tries to catch up, Council just really doesn't have a chance. Maybe he doesn't even have a chance right now.
Ooh, yeah, I don't think he's getting out of this one in one piece. Almost gets Ostrich there, but Elky Chong was the assist that mattered. Darabu gonna try to go deep for this one, but don't want to give Ostrich another kill. Thankfully doesn't. It'll just be an assist, but giving one to the 8 now Syndra is not much better, as Jay's gonna pat himself on the back for that one. Mac gonna be under a little bit of fire here if Zero Gravity decides to go in. They want to clear the minions first, but they don't want to deal with Jay and that camper. They do back off, sniffing out the pressure. Keep in mind, they don't have too far to retreat to this one. That's a big stun up. And Zero Gravity gonna be hard-pressed to get out of this one alive. We'll see if the chickens can do anything for him. Yeah, it's a flash out. Probably means he's okay.
For it. Wow. I mean, at the very least, they're blind. You know, they don't know where anyone is in the jungle. If they were to chase straight forwards and run into the Victor, I mean, that's just giving away free kills. So they do know that they have to respect certain members of this team, and if they don't know where they are, then they can't continue to chase. So the flash gets him out and saves them quite a bit of time. If the Alistar had gone down, they would have to wait even longer for their pseudo frontline to get back, and then they could finally have the Irelia rejoin the split. But maybe 1-3-1 is even better, right? If the Victor goes to one side lane, if the Irelia goes to another, there aren't members that are strong enough to stop them without considering pulling the Sivir off of mid, right? The Sivir is the one that beats the Irelia 100% of the time. If she's top lane, Sivir has to be top. As Sivir's top, you need at minimum one person to support her, or else the Irelia will take that kill and straight dive her, no matter where she stands. That means that the mid lane is no longer 3-3, and it means that they can maybe get an advantage back onto the Bruins. If the Scorpions can find some masterful macro as such, then it will work out for them. But this is still a very hard ask, because, after all, they're already caught the Alistar.
Such a big and quick pickup, too, onto Zero Gravity. We did not see Zot taken out off screen, but that was just a 1v1 to Jay here, who's put himself up 9, 2, and 5. The bot lane's dead. This pretty much opens the door immediately to Baron. Teleports are both coming down. They're going to be right on top of each other here, but Chancel's on the back line. We'll see if he can get in. It's a double stun, but it's not anything just yet. Baron's health about halfway down. DeMarvel is stunned up. This could be the intro that they need. The exhaust is down. He's going to go solo, and Elky Chong gets the kill for that one. It's going to be another one taken out as Max suppresses Darabu. The jungler is dead. The Baron did reset, but I don't think they cared too much. They should have the health bars just to lock this one back. And the best Chancel can help for now is just to run it down mid. Not going to be the case. He's going to be looking for the blue buff, maybe the pressure off that bot lane.
Pretty good. No, this is very early into the game still. The Baron's going to take quite some time. He knows this, right? So what he does is he says, okay, maybe I can get a bot lane turret, but they've already got Baron empowered recall. They're already back. If he tries to shove into this turret, probably going to die for it. You know, they do have members, and they're close enough. Get back to the bottom lane T2. See, he has to recall already. He recognizes the fact that they can kill him, backs off instead, but the more times that this happens... Oh, cancel.
Yeah, he thought Mac wasn't going to come down to that lane. He thought they were just going to 5-man mid and try to boost this one out. underestimating his opponents there, their sense of the macro play. I don't think that's something that they can afford to do right now because they've not won a single macro decision, right? It's been pure fight prowess and good picks that have really kept the Scorpions in this game. But they've not taken a Baron. They didn't take the Rift Herald. All three dragons.
Fair. I think that their brilliant macro play, if you want to call one of them, was the counter gank on bot lane. That was an insane rotation. It was a great call to make. And it get them basically their entire lead.
Oh, no, I think we're on. I was talking about the Bruins are making the great macro play. With their objective control, having all the neutral objectives of dragons, of barons, of the Rift.
Yes. We had a lapse in communication there.
So no, I mean definitely running the floor here. Macro. The point I was making is that Chancel was very much underestimating their macro play, assuming that Mac would not push him in the bottom lane there. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, the focus here, as they've just poured through these towers, they've gotten what's almost certainly going to be the inhibitor here as soon as Ostrich turns his attention back to it. Yes, it does go down, and things are getting really troublesome now for the Scorpions. This has been blown wide open. Bruins.
Yeah, and with the Baron still having time remaining, almost half of the whole time before it actually goes down, they can do a lot with this, right? The 4th dragon isn't exactly what I wanted to see. You know, I want to see some more objectives, some actual turrets taken, but, you know, dragons are still very important. If they can control as many dragons as possible, the next dragon will be that Elder, and actually, is it 28-11?
Yeah.
Okay, they have one more dragon.
It's
they do have a 5th dragon
on the docket, right?
And if they get a 3rd Infernal, and then they get Elder after that, I mean, the game is basically over at that point, right? It's Infernal plus Elder plus the true damage burn of 5 dragons. Can't let it get to that if you're the Scorpions. Or if you do, you can't let them have it.
It's not like DeMarvelous didn't know that ward was there, right?
No, he was attacking physically.
Oh, man. Just had no idea for it. Got so punished, so caught out. That's 40 more seconds on this death timer. If they don't find at least another tower here, I would be shocked because that Baron still has about 2 good waves left in the tank there, depending on when they get to it. Because actually, maybe just 1, if even that. It's so far back. But Camper actually decides he doesn't care. He's got the health bar for it, and they get the initial knock on the door that they're looking for there, making life a little rough. They should be able to empower this last Baron wave to knock out this tower. We'll see if they decide to try to stop him on the side of the Scorpions. The answer is no. So the tower goes down, so does the Baron buff. And now we'll see whether or not they can try to keep pushing this one out, because the Marvelous has just spawned. A teleport behind them could be a last-ditch play, but meanwhile, they just want to go forward. Zero gravity, charging right in. Elky Chong's a little low, but it's not enough. The exhaust onto the Alistair, but look at that in the back line. Chancel found Jay. They're trying to find more. What a huge pick. Elky Chong goes down now. That Camper and Ostrich are on the run. Mac, the only healthy member left alive. He's trying to chase it back in and just get some consolation kills, but it's just not enough. Only zero gravity gone down now for the Scorpion. They're trying to make it Chancel as well, but Mac, the last man standing for the Bruins, will get sniffed out here, I'm sure of it, and that is the final shot. DeMarvelous coming back up was all they needed. A triple kill for the ace comes in, and just like that, the Scorpions barely managed to stay alive in this game, but it's a huge pickup.
And that was such an important fight, right? We're talking about game ending. If they lose there, the game is over. First game goes down the toilet, but it's all about the Irelia, right? The fact that the Irelia is the one that can actually carry solo is so insane. I mean, they basically just said, oh, I'm just going to ignore the Irelia. And as soon as they ignore Irelia, Chancel takes 1, 2, about 400 HP off the rest of them, or reduces them to below 8.5, and there's nothing they can do about it, you know? At that point, it's all but finished. The fight is done. You've already lost. The Irelia still has GA, still has so much HP, and you haven't done a single thing to stop her. That's the real problem, right? If you give Chancel space, he is going to take over the game, because that is what Irelia does. She just completely wins fights when she is allowed to do what she wants.
Definitely see which team's going to be trying to take the glory from this field. We're cresting that 30-minute point. And there's really not a champion that you can look to and say, yeah, they're not online right now. They're not a threat. Everyone in this game is a threat. I think probably the worst you could say is maybe Zot. on this Varus, being 2, 5, and 6, but
No,
even
he has 3
so,
items. I mean,
itemization. He's ahead in CS, if only by a handful. But he's got one of the more competitive CS scores of this game. So still a huge threat to anyone on this team. The Dragons are going to make a huge difference, but this could really go either way right now. Mac in a little bit of trouble in this 1v1. DeMarvelous has it. There's just no chance for Mac there. And now they're trying to get in zero gravity. He's trying to punish this one, but he's low himself. Elky Chong with a really good Morgana combo to get that one down through. But look at this. Zod gets Elky Chong on the back line. That camper has nowhere to go as he's running out of this. And oh no, Ostrich just died for it all. So this could be the continuance of the turnaround for the Seneca Scorpions. See if they keep it up here. Jay turns it. No! Not what they want. And that's going to be bad now, too, as another kill comes out. But look at that. That camper is going to be so low here. He tries to dive back in for it, but it's a double kill in the meantime. Are you kidding me? They aced them the second time in a row, and the base defense alive and well for the Scorpions. They're now going to try to take something in this top lane as DeMarvelous can wave clear everything in the bot, defend this inhibitor for days, and try to keep this game hope alive.
That was... We mentioned you have to shut down the Aurelia. But it's a much, much harder thing to actually do it. Right now, they have basically no answer to Chancel. They can't actually kill him. If anything, they have to protect the Sivir. That's basically their only shot at actually taking these fights. And so far, they don't have the front line. They don't have the CC. They don't have anything to stop Sivir from being murdered by the Aurelia. And it shows, right? The death count has just been increasing. They've lost both of the recent fights. And now, even their contention of the next Dragon and Baron is in question, right? They have a lot of ground to make up. They have to find an answer for this Aurelia, or they're just going to completely be run over by it.
And with this wave reset now, with this inhibitor respawning and the pressure kind of equalizing around this map, another ace for the Scorpions here could very easily win them this game, right? It held them off last because they had to have DeMarvelous in that bot side, clearing out minions, in that mid side, saving the tower, and making sure that inhibitor doesn't go down yet again. But right now, the wave pressure is actually in the hands of the Scorpions for the first time in a long time here. So if they pull off another ace, which they've been making look like a real reality these last two fights, things could go very topsy-turvy now for the Bruins. We'll see whether or not they're bold enough to take a fight. We've got two major objectives on the board. He is the last Infernal Drake of the game, potentially number 3 for the Bruins here. We have the Baron as well, and DeMarvelous trying to get this 1v1. We already know he can take it to Mac in an even fight, but they could collapse him here, right? The pings are coming down on him. He's actually just realizing this now. This is bad news for him. DeMarvelous has to come out with a kill here, or his team is in huge trouble. That's going to be the Cataclysm coming down. All 5 members are on him, but he did equalize out. He was able to take Mac with him, so it's all square. There goes Zero Gravity. He's in for it. Elky Chong going to be in a little bit of trouble here. They want to find more, but the question is, can they? Zero Gravity staying alive just by this, tanking so much, but they do manage to find Chancel. Is it going to be enough? Because Jay does go down. The camper is trying to turn it. Ostrich still alive. Daraboo's going to go down, and that is the ace, turning this time into the hands of the Bruins. They definitely do it. There's so much time left on this clock.
That's game.
They can march this one right down.
They don't have any turrets left. They can run straight through bottom lane and finish this one up. There should be absolutely no chance for this game to not end here, in fact. And I think this will be it. As it stands right now, the Sivir is running into the bottom lane. She's getting towards that inhibitor. If it falls, this game will be over, and they are absolutely going to look for the finish here. 14 seconds on the nearest member to coming up, and the Nexus is going to drop.
That's it. With the teleport, they make it happen, and they will be able to shove through 35 minutes on the victory, 33 to 26, only 2K separating. That is an absolute brawl. I mean, out in the mud and the blood and the rain they fought in that one. And just by the skin of their teeth managed to come back. What a victory for the Sheridan Bruins. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it looked like, I mean, you know what it looked like? It looked like the game was in the hands of the Scorpions. All of a sudden you say, okay, they've got the Aurelia. They've got the damage. They're winning fight after fight after fight. And then it all collapses. I mean, at that point, what can you do but say you've tried everything? You know, the Aurelia had almost finished off 2 members. She gets the GA off the Sivir. She gets the Zanyas off of the Syndra. And at that point in the fight, you think, okay, it's over. All they have to do is land one more PCC on either one of those targets. Fight end. They can't do it. They just couldn't do it. The Sivir comes back up. The Aurelia drops the ultimate from the Unleashed Power. I mean, it's over. That's it. That's game number 1. And at the very least, you got to say that Seneca put up a heck of a fight, but Sheridan was just better on the day. Game number 1 certainly went in their favor, but we do have more games coming up.
Absolutely. We will get into the rest of this series, but we're going to give the players a little bit of time to shake off, reset, take a quick 2-minute break, and then we will be back with the second game here, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.